want to give a very happy birthday to these 4 wolves that are all having birthdays next week. So we have happy birthday to Sophia, happy birthday Hennessy, happy birthday Asael, and happy birthday Roman. Gophers and Wolves, I'm going to miss making videos for you, but this is our last video teaching you how to do math and phonics for the year. I know there are still some pages in your workbook, but you are not required to do them. If mom and dad tell you to do them, I still expect you to do them, but I do not need them to be done. So I will not be making any more videos because next week we are going to be having Zoom meetings instead. So I look forward to seeing you in those meetings, but I couldn't miss the chance to tell these 4 friends happy birthday. Let's look and see what is happening in our Bible story for today. Deborah leads the way. The Israelites lived in the Promised Land for many years, but they forgot about God. A bad king from other lands ruled over them. The Israelites asked God for help. God sent them a judge named Deborah. She loved God very much. God gave her a plan to defeat the bad king. She sent a man named Barak and asked him, God wants you to take 10,000 soldiers and wait on the hill. The Israelites were not as strong as their enemies. Barak begged Deborah to go with them. She was a strong leader. She agreed. When the Israelites met face to face with the king's army, Deborah explained, Go, attack them now. God is with us. The Israelites obeyed and won the battle. When we listen to God, we know great things can happen. They maybe weren't the strongest army or the biggest army, but God is bigger than anyone else. So if He's on our side, we can always be the winners. Let's look at your last math page for the year. I'm so excited. All right. Let's see here. We need to mark off the information that isn't needed in this sentence. So I'm going to read it one time first before we look to see what isn't needed. Jonah went fishing. He wanted to catch 10 fish for dinner. He caught 3 fish. He brought 12 worms. How many more fish does Jonah need to catch? Let's think here. We know that he's wanting fish, and it talks about fish a couple of times. Let's see what's not needed. Jonah went fishing. He wanted to catch 10 fish for dinner. He caught 3 fish. He brought 12 worms. Does it matter how many worms he has? I don't think that really matters. So we're going to get rid of those 12 worms from our problem. How many more fish does Jonah need to catch? So let's write this out. We know that Jonah wants a total. He wants his answer to be 10. And we also know that he has already caught 3. So I can say he has 3 plus something is going to equal the total of the 10 fish he wants. So I can draw out a number line and put 3 and put my 10, and I need to count all of the ones in between to figure out how many it takes to go from 3 to 10. So you need to draw out a number line and count all of them in between to figure out what your answer would be right there. Let's look at problem number 2. All right. The pool was 89 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning and 99 degrees Fahrenheit in the afternoon. The swim class started at 3:30. How much did the water temperature change? Now let's look and see what part of this story do we need and what parts do we not need. So the pool was 89 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning and 99 degrees Fahrenheit in the afternoon. We know we're asking for the temperature, so that part's needed. The swim class started at 3:30. Does that tell us anything about the temperature? I don't think so. So we're going to cross that part off. How much did the water temperature change? So how much is going to ask us to subtract. So we're going to write out our 99 on top because that's the bigger number goes on top. And 89 will go underneath, remembering our ones column and our tens column. And we figured out we need to subtract. Draw our line down the middle so we can subtract 9 from 9 and 9 minus 8. Your answer will be right there. All right, let's erase this so we can move on to problem number 3. There were 12 chairs and 8 people. 4 people brought lunch. How many more chairs than people were there? So we know they're asking us about chairs. Let's read this and figure out what parts we need and what parts we don't need. There were 12 chairs and 8 people. 4 people brought lunch. Does it really matter how many people brought lunch? I don't think so. So we're going to cross off the 4 people brought lunch part. How many more chairs were there than people? How many more tells us we need to subtract. So let's start with that larger number on top. 12 subtract 8 equals. So we know we can't do 2 take away 8, so we're going to have to draw a number line. Or you could draw out 12 circles. And cross off 8 of them to tell us how many we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many more chairs were there than people? All right, let's move on to question number 4. There were 17 umbrellas. A strong wind blew 6 down. 7 people sat in chairs. How many umbrellas were still standing? So we know they're asking us about umbrellas. Let's look and see what part of this isn't telling us about umbrellas. There were 17 umbrellas. That part seems to fit. A strong wind blew 6 of the umbrellas down. That part seems relevant. 7 people sat in chairs. What does that tell us about umbrellas? It doesn't tell us anything, so we're going to cross off the 7 people sat in chairs part. How many umbrellas were still standing? So let's go ahead and write this down. We know we have 17, and we know we have 6 as our numbers. We put 17 on top because it's bigger, and 6 on the bottom. How many more is one of those detective phrases that tells us to subtract. So you can draw out circles for this. You could use a number line, or you could use your columns. We can go 6 subtract, or 7 subtract 6, and 1 subtract. There's nothing there, it's going to be a 0, and find your answer. Let's turn this over and do the back. Number 5. The vendor had 55 ice cream bars to sell. He sold 31. How many bars were left? So let's read this again and start writing it out. Let's find the numbers first. The vendor has 55 ice cream bars. He sold 31. The larger number should go on top, so we're going to do 55 and 31. And then let's see if we're adding or subtracting. How many bars were left? How many is going to tell us we're subtracting. So let's draw a line down the middle, our ones column and our tens column. You can subtract those to find your answer. All right, let's move on to problem number 6. 12 seagulls looked for clams. 9 seagulls found clams. 6 sandpipers ate fleas. How many seagulls did not find clams? Let's read this again. We know we're talking about seagulls and clams. Part of that didn't really make sense. 12 seagulls looked for clams. So we're going to write that down. 12 seagulls looking for clams. That part seems important. 9 seagulls found clams. That part seems important too. 6 sandpipers ate fleas. That's not part of our question. They're not asking us about sandpipers. How many seagulls did not find clams? How many tells us to subtract. So 12 subtract 9. You can use either little circles and cross them off, or you can use a number line to find this answer. Number 7. There are 10 pink jellyfish. The blue boat had 6 snails. There were 9 clear jellyfish. How many jellyfish are there in all? So they want to know about jellyfish. Let's find the parts of this question that ask us about jellyfish. There are 10 pink jellyfish. That seems important. The blue boat had 6 sails. That doesn't tell me anything about jellyfish. There were 9 clear jellyfish. That seems important. That's about jellyfish. How many jellyfish were there in all? So I'm going to draw this line. In all tells me I'm going to add them together, so I should put a plus sign. You can add these up. 0 plus 9 and 1 plus 0 to find your answer. Then we're going to move on to question number 8. An airplane has a 20-foot banner. Another plane has a 32-foot banner. How much longer is the second banner? Let's write those numbers down. An airplane has a 20-foot banner. Another plane has a 32-foot banner. I'm going to write 32 feet on top because that's a larger number. How much longer is the second banner? That tells me how much I should be subtracting. I'm going to put my line in for my 1s and 10s column, and then I'm going to subtract 2 minus 0 and 3 minus 2 to find my answer. All right, let's take a look at your phonics for today. Sentences and names of special people and places begin with uppercase letters. Remember, that's a way we can show respect for those things. So circle each word that should begin with an uppercase letter. I'll tell you how many should go in the sentence. One day, Sam and Bill looked into the window of Dan's bakery. Now, Dan's bakery is already uppercase, so I'm not going to count those ones. But I see that there are 3 more that should be uppercased. 3 more. Remember, the first letter in a sentence, names and places. Number 2, it was the best window to look at in all of Brownburg. First letters in sentences, names and places. So there should be 2 in this sentence. It was the best window in all of Brownburg. Number 3, soon Sam and Bill headed home along Main Street with a cookie in each hand. Now this sentence is actually going to have 5. We have beginning of sentence, 2 names, and 2 of them that are part of a place. I'll read it again. Soon Sam and Bill headed home along Main Street with a cookie in each hand. All right. This part is going to have us coloring things in, so you're going to need a few colors. Pink, blue, and green. If the word has an IR sound in it, like you're going to color it pink. If it has an OR sound, like or, it's going to be blue. If it has a bossy R sound with an A where it just says R, it's going to be green. I'll tell you what each of these are. This is a skirt, a shirt. This is a jar, corn, to art, horn, barn. All right, on this page, they're going to have an OR is going to be yellow, like in the word stork. AR is going to be blue, like in the word dark. And then all of the sounds like ER, IR, and UR, the for nurse is going to be red. I will read these words to you. This is a horse, horse. This is a fern, a star, purse, shark, bird, and thorn. All right, I hope that you have all had a wonderful time working on your worksheets. I look forward to seeing all of you in our Zoom meetings next week. Have a great weekend.